Durag Wisdom, ladies and gentlemen and friends, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 19.05.19. It took me less than a day to watch the 5 episodes of the Game of Thrones before tonight's finale. I was afraid someone would accidentally spoil stuff for me, so I decided to make as quick an end to it as I could. And you know, it's been painful. As you know, at 68 plus, I no longer want to be spoon-fed one episode of a continuing series at a time. There is much about the show that I would like to comment on, and will try to spread this out, but not so far out that it takes too much of our valuable time. I hate when networks and media bullshit people, because Game of Thrones was on for 9 years, not 8. There was a 2+ year hiatus between season 7 and the present 8. In fact, both 7 and 8 should have been included in one season. I was 61 when the show began, and now I am pushing 69 next August. The main reason they divided the last season, the 7 and 8, is so that the rest of us can spend extra money on another set. And there were other reasons too that this show was divided up. Especially the fact that R.R. Martin did not complete the series of books it is based on, or so it was reported. And the fact that the show creators and runners, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, made it so. We will make it so. Not 4 years, not 5 years, not 6 years, not even 7 years, 8 years. But we'll have a 2-year hiatus, and it'll really be 9 years that these people, these schmucks, will be able to occupy their time with our fantasy world. Let me see. They're right. Real life is going on while we obsess about fake life. During the 9-year run, and 9-year run, I keep saying it, 9 years, not 8. They keep saying 8. It's 9, folks, 9. Of Game of Thrones, my wife's younger brother, who was still in his 50s, died. Tragedy. Less than a year later, her father died. He was in his 90s, natural causes. Neither of them, thankfully, did not care for the Game of Thrones. And while we enjoyed red weddings and battles of the bastards, a real dictator and real traitor ascended into our White House, creating something more existentially threatening than anything imagined on a TV show or in a movie. Although some of them, the nuclear war drama Threads, for example, came very close to real. See, the more real a movie seems to be, in terms of how it presents itself, the more of a work of art it is. Now look, folks, I understand how important entertainment is to us. I mean, I'm only speaking from now the point of view of someone, you know, an elderly person. But at the same time, I'm concerned that you young people, because they have TV seasons that go on and on and on, not just one. All year we have a TV season, a new TV season. I understand why these media folks maybe want to keep us indoors. They want to protect us from being shot up in our malls, our movie theaters, and people's places of worship. But I'd like you to get out into the world, see it. Of course, we're eating it up with shopping malls and Disney and amusement park bullcrap, uniformity, and invasion of the body snatchers, Santa Mira, all over the freaking world. So you got to get out and see this world before it's gone, the natural world especially. So I understand how important entertainment is. So when I speak of it the way I do, I'm not trying to put anybody down. After all, entertainment is important to us because, as they say in that movie Gladiator, character played by Oliver Reed, the late great Oliver Reed, and of course it says in the Bible in a certain way, we are simply shadow and dust. Shadow and dust! Shadow and dust, Maximus! But when we neglect our real and dangerous world to occupy our minds with entertainment that is ultimately and often useless, except that it's fun, our real lives go on even faster to meet their final days. Since Benioff and Weiss are nothing more than another version of Bialystok and Bloom, I plan to avoid any project they run in the future, if I am even alive when they plan a new bulging epic. 9 freaking years, folks, not 8. Don't let them con you. Your lives are all valuable. Don't let these freaking creeps waste your time, including me if that comes to it. Full disclosure and spoilers to follow. So if you haven't seen the whole thing yet, don't go from here. I'm one of those pathetic schleppers who invested my old age ass in my time of life on Game of Thrones. Okay, I have like a few seasons of the series hard copy, and the last BS series, and on the digital. I personally want a woman or Tyrion to sit on the Iron Throne. Benioff and Weiss went a long way in debasing every human and non-human character they could in their opus, including, and I especially despise them for how they treated dire wolves and dragons, and how worse they treated women characters and the character Tyrion. Terrible. I can't even tell you how many times I was cursing out the characters who were treating Tyrion bad, or making him think he was a quote-unquote imp and a monster and all that stuff. I mean, I kept thinking he was going to get killed last night. Well, when I say last night, I watched the whole thing in one day, so I was up to the last, what I was saying. To Benioff and Weiss, F you Steve, and F you DB, F you, I'm speaking to them directly now, for slaughtering the second dragon. I love dragons, and I especially love those dragons, and what you did really pissed me off. I honestly, and that's another reason I'm never going to watch anything of yours again. I'm never. What you did to those dragons, you could kiss my tuchus. Yeah, I'm supposed to hate the character that did it, and I do. But you two schmucks are the gods of the story. And the vile creep who murdered that dragon was only doing what you wrote him to do. See the movie In the Mouth of Madness, directed by John Carpenter. A better filmmaker than you two are. So, both of you can kiss my tuchus in rhyme. Now this is for us. I needed night goggles, frankly, to watch the battle against the dead sequence. But they still managed to keep focused on the main characters. In any event, they could have staged the battle near dawn's light and called the episode instead Dead at Dawn. I guess borrowing somebody else's title. But they all do it, don't they now? Instead of The Long Night. It was certainly The Long Night on eye strain for me, and my eyes are bad enough as it is. Repeat, I want a woman or Tyrion to sit on the Iron Throne, but who the hell cares who sits on a throne when it is true life dignity that matters? And how we have a horrific situation on our real planet right now that is being ignored by the creeps on the thrones. Those lucky enough not to be homeless have a throne. Many of us are lucky because we eat a lot of fiber and have the privilege of sitting and using this throne every day. Some people, on the other hand, have this throne but don't use it. And they don't use it enough. You can see how constipated they are, because most of these people who can't really use this throne and are running things on our planet. And it's reflected in the life on this planet. So we basically have constipated people making our planet as constipated as possible. This is our real Game of Thrones. Real life, real death, and sadly mostly mental and physical constipation.
Women's rights, and how can I dump on the planet instead of actually dumping? How can I make sure that I'm running things until everybody...
Please, ladies and gentlemen and friends, don't have fun. Do what you want. But please don't let rich, cynical creeps like Benioff and Weiss live off our life's blood. Supplemental. Enjoy the show tonight.